The US dollar is in danger. This is probably the most dangerous period that the dollar is going through since 1971, since the gold standard. The pressure on the Federal Reserve is rising to lower interest rates finally to take this burden out of the shoulders of the government. Scott Bessent, the Treasury of the Secretary, recently said that the Federal Reserve should lower the rates by at least 150% basis points. And maybe by the end of the next year, the interest rates would be at about 1% and welcome again the era of cheap money.
It's a nickname too late is because he wants to go into a series of rate hikes. He's not willing. He's not Alan Greenspan, who was very forward thinking. They try to be more data driven, which I think is a mistake. We should probably be 150, 175 basis points lower.
If Alan Greenspan would be the chairman of the Fed today, he would have hiked the interest rates to about 10% to finally put an end to this high inflation. When Alan Greenspan took the chairman of the Fed, the interest rates were about 6.5%. That was in 1987. And inflation during that period was about 3.6%. Not as high as today. I mean, in fact, higher than today, because inflation today is about 2.9% or 2.7%. That's not that a huge difference, but nonetheless, he understood that inflation is rising, and if he's not going to take drastic measures to control that, it will get out of control. So, instantly, when he takes the chairman of the Fed, he raises the interest rates to about 10% by 1989. And inflation was rising again to about 5.4%. Imagine if we have interest rates today that are as high as 10%. I think Donald Trump is literally would go to the chairman of the Fed and would punch him in the face because he cannot possibly afford such high interest rates. When we have today interest rates of about 4.5%, that is costing the US government almost $1 trillion in servicing the debt. Imagine what would happen if we have 10% interest rates. Yes, inflation after that cooled down to about 3%. And you might think that Alan Greenspan would lower interest rates to finally grow the economy since we have an inflation rate of about 3%. But that's not happening because from 1995 up to the year 2000, he kept interest rates for about 6% in order to bring that inflation to 2%. That's the kind of interest rates that investors will accept. That's the kind of interest rates that would help the US government or the US economy to continue growing, since businesses have to make business decisions. And if they don't know what is going to be the real inflation, then they cannot possibly make good business decisions. His interest rate hikes led to unemployment to grow to as much as 7.8%. And this is one of the highest unemployment of the 20th century that the United States ever faced. If you compare that to what's happening today, when we have interest rates of about 4.5%, unemployment is like 4.2%. So you can confidently say that Jay Powell is not doing literally a bad job. When we have unemployment of 4.2%, it makes sense to have interest rates of about 4.5% when inflation is still not under control. So if you literally look at inflation rate of about 2.7% and you see that Jay Powell is taking interest rates to about 4.5%, it actually makes economic sense for him to keep the rates that high until inflation will be fixed because unemployment is so low. You also have to consider the fact that Alan Greenspan did not face the debt problem that the government is facing today. Today, the government is facing such a huge debt that was not a problem back in the days. Now, we have to understand that the national debt that the government is facing has nothing to do with the Federal Reserve. That debt was not created by the Fed. That debt was created by the government. And government alone is responsible. And if the cost of servicing that debt is getting out of control, again, that's not the problem of the Fed. The debt to GDP ratio back in 1987 was about 50%. Today is about 118%. That's why there is so much pressure on the Federal Reserve, because we have to service that debt and it costs the government now $1 trillion. And if Jay Powell is going to raise the interest rates to about 10%, I guess the cost of servicing that debt could go to as high as 2%. So if you are already having a deficit of $2 trillion, it would go to $3 trillion. Back in the days, the Federal Reserve was not also practicing quantitative easing because it was created aftermath of the 2008 financial crisis to save the US economy. So the balance sheet of the Fed was pretty empty back in 1980s. Today, the balance sheet of the Fed is at about 7.8 or 7.5 trillion dollars, which is enormous. And the job of the Fed is to empty that balance sheet. It was solely created to save the US economy. And now, while you have to get rid of that balance sheet, you cannot possibly do that because there isn't enough demand in the market. And there is also so much pressure on the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates. The deficit back in the days was 3.1%, but today's deficit to GDP ratio is like 6.5%, and according to a lot of experts, if the trend continues, it can go to as high as 7% by the end of the next year. There is also a trade war that the Federal Reserve has to take into consideration, since trade wars and tariffs usually tend to increase prices. That is a very normal thing to consider. If you're bringing stuff from outside and you put additional tax on them, their final price will certainly be higher than the prices that you used to have before the tariffs, because now you have an extra expense, an extra tax that you have to pay because you imported that product into the United States. So if Alan Greenspan would be the chairman of the Fed today, he would certainly hike the interest rates. But here's what is literally creating the real danger for the United States dollar. If you look at the yields on the treasury bills, you will see that every time there is a crisis, investors would consider the US dollar as a safe haven. And that is the biggest danger that the government or the US dollar is facing right now. You see, when we have a crisis, investors who are sitting on a lot of wealth, they tend to accept lower interest rates as long as their money is safe, as long as it's invested in the safest investments possible. So, take an example of 2020. When we had the global pandemic and the world was closing its doors and investors were like, what's going to happen to our wealth? We have billions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, sometimes tens of billions of dollars. And that money should be invested somewhere so that we are out of this pandemic and we have made at least some return and protected ourselves against inflation. So a lot of that money during any kind of a crisis flows back to the United States and being invested in the US debt, because people trust the US dollar more than they trust anything else. So you see that the yields on 10-year treasury bills have decreased from 1.6% to 0.5%. The way that the yields on the debt is determined is through supply and demand. If the US government is selling so much debt, on the other side there is so much, or the demand is higher from them, then that allows the US government to offer lower yields and raise money at a cheaper price. If you look at the 30-year treasury bills, you'll see the exact same thing. Back in 2020 or the beginning of 2020, the yields on them were about 2%. By the mid of 2020, they went down by more than 50% to 0.9%. So investors in 2020 looked at the United States and they had so much confidence in the United States that they were willing to accept 0.9% interest rate for the next 30 years as long as their money is safe. But something fundamentally changes after that. The global economy goes through so much shifts, and investors no longer are ready to accept such a low yields on their investments. They want something higher, and interest rates would go to as high as 4.3% or 4.5%, especially at the peak of 2022 when there was high inflation, and investors were demanding at least 5%. We are going through another chaos in the world. The world order is changing. The world is shifting. We're changing the economic model that the world has used since 1945. Because now we have major economies such as China who are not willing to simply follow the world order or the rules that the United States has put in place, because they're challenging the dominance of the dollar and the dominance of the US economy. Secondly, the United States is creating a new economic model by imposing tariffs on every single country in the world. We haven't seen anything like that, because the previous policy was that we lowered down tariffs to 0% to make the US dollar as the global reserve currency. So this is a crisis. This is a period of uncertainty. So you would expect investors to come back to the United States. You would expect so much capital to flow from all around the world back into the United States, and the yields on the US Treasury bills would go down from 4.3% at least maybe to 3%. If you look at the bond market, at the auctions, you'll see that the demand is not as strong as it was in the past. The demand is not as strong as it was in 2020, in 2021, and even in 2019, 18, and the years prior to that, as if investors are losing confidence in the dollar. Now, if you take the treasury bills of the US and you compare them to the German treasury bills, you see that the German treasury bills have half of the yields that the United States has. That means that investors are having more confidence in the German economy than they have in the US economy. That doesn't make sense. The United States has the global reserve currency. The German economy does not have the global reserve currency, and yet investors are willing to loan their money to the German government at the lower interest rates than they are willing to do that with the US economy. And that's the problem or the danger that is the US dollar is right now in. Secondly, if you compare the US treasury bills and you compare them to the Swiss treasury bills, they have yields of less than 1%. Can you imagine for a moment that a country that is literally tiny, small in the middle of Europe has lower yields on their government bonds than the United States has? The US bond market is the backbone of what makes the United States the global reserve currency. And the less faith in the bonds there are, the less faith there will be in the US dollar, which is exactly what is creating so much danger for the United States as the global reserve currency. And now you want to pressure the Fed further to lower interest rates so that inflation will get out of control. The only question that I have, why would any investors would loan their money to the United States government and buy those treasury bills and accept lower interest rates compared to inflation when they have much better options all across the globe? And that's why Jamie Dimon, who is the chairman, it's not a chairman, he's like the CEO of JP Morgan, says that the bond market is going to crack if you continue with these policies. What makes the entire situation even more dangerous is that if the Fed will lower interest rates in September of this year under the pressure of the White House, it will destroy that confidence even more. So it's very difficult to predict how high the yields will be after that. Hopefully, it's not going to crack the bond market, but the likelihood of that is only rising. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.